Mr. Fong to the Cybersecurity Subcommittee, and I recognize the gentleman from California for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to the witnesses. Thank you for the hospitality, and certainly excited to be part of this critical conversation on the cyber infrastructure subcommittee. My first question to Mr. Botting, it was alluded by my colleague from Texas, but the PRC continues to expand its technical capabilities for intercepting and collecting global communications data, including data that travels across these subsea cables. Given the PRC's rapid investment in quantum computing and its known practice of harvesting encrypted data for future exploitation, what steps should the United States and our allies take to ensure that the data moving through subsea cables remains protected, not only today, but also against future decryption attempts that could enable state-sponsored cyber operations years or decades from now?
Thank you very much for the question. And certainly, it is not that I'm dismissing that threat out of hand by any means. It's that as I look at it, it is a very technically challenging way to get access to information. And I think certainly if we look at the cybersecurity domain, they've proven themselves very adept at getting access to information through other means. Is a very important point, though, that part of the kind of scenario I walked us through earlier was the idea that a lot of the data is encrypted, right? If we get to a point where China has a quantum event and is able to far easily decrypt that information, again, that would change the risk profile. And I guess two direct answers to your questions. One is we need to be ready to make that transition so that our financial transactions or other sensitive data are being transmitted with quantum-resistant algorithms ahead of the point in time when China is able to decrypt it. So that is an important thing that we drive forward. I think that needs to happen primarily with the data owners, not on the cable itself, because if it's on the cable itself, then you create a single point of failure in the system, where if they tap it on a terrestrial cable, it's not encrypted. If they tap it on the subsea cable, it is encrypted. And so you just redirect their efforts somewhere else in the system. It needs to be encrypted before it's sort of traversing the cables and the global ecosystem. So yeah, I think that is something that's important for us to work on and that this committee could potentially help to drive forward.
Thank you very much. To Mr. Strong, over the past 2 years, and it's been alluded by some of the other witnesses, several cable breaks near Taiwan have demonstrated how vulnerable the region's communications infrastructure is to both accidental damage and deliberate interference. And these cable systems, as mentioned, not only carry Taiwan's domestic internet and phone traffic, but they also carry and support a substantial volume of transit data that moves between the United States and key markets in Asia. If the PRC intentionally disrupted cable segments near Taiwan, what would the immediate effects to the United States be? What would we experience in terms of slowed cloud services, delayed financial transactions, and interruptions to routine commercial data? And based on your industry insights, how quickly could alternate cable routes and backup systems realistically absorb the sudden shift in traffic without causing instability across U.S. networks?
Well, I would be more concerned for the Taiwanese, but I can say that it would be very difficult for the CCP to intentionally cause faults on these cables and then prevent repair ships without maintaining a blockade, and then we're in a situation of potential warfare. In terms of the effects on the continental United States, I wouldn't say necessarily minor, but only a small proportion of trans-Pacific cables is routed through that area. Japan is a much larger hub for us through the Pacific, and there are a lot of new cables going in on a southerly route to provide more physical diversity.
Okay. And I have to ask you, Mr. Strong, you mentioned California-specific challenges in one of your previous answers. And being a Californian, now on this committee, I want to, I guess, allow you to expound on what those California-specific challenges are.
Sure. The way as I understand it, the normal permitting process for going through U.S. territorial waters is applying for a permit with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. and that's pretty well founded in both for installation and quick repair. It generally has not been a huge problem. However, NOAA is the administrator of the National Marine Sanctuaries. They have, instead of a 25-year license, as the FCC does for normal cables, they would only have a 5-year license. And it's not known by cable operators of how quickly they would react to an emergency repair. So essentially, the cables have completely routed around that area. And as a result, if you look at a map, they're all squeezed into a few landing stations in California, Oregon, and Washington.
Gotcha. Well, certainly look forward to working with you. My time has run out. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you, gentlemen.